Welcome to the Under 11 2020 wrap at Hills Rugby Union. All the coaches got together, thought we'd do a little bit of a video blog on what we thought, how the season went and some of the highlights of the season. I was supposed to give an intro. I think it's about, I'm trying to reminisce back to the Under 11 welcome without boring people too much, and the key things that sort of called out to me. We sort of kicked off the season looking to build 4 values into what we're doing, and certainly in hindsight, I think we ticked all 4 of these, and it was around respect, participation, learning, and competition. And I think we really achieved at each of them. The pre-season kicked off really well. We had Matt took care of our pre-season.
We did. I suppose from our side it was a lovely introduction into, I suppose, getting to know the boys on a very personal level, or different from me shouting from the sidelines. But the wild boys, like I called them, I suppose, turned up every Saturday morning, 8 a.m, ready to rock and roll, which for me was a blessing to kind of take the pillars of what Andy wanted to do, or kind of lay the foundations for the rest of the season. And to watch each of the players, I suppose, not only get fitter, but get to learn and know, I suppose, who they are as individuals, but get to know each other as a team as well, was fantastic. I think from a pre-season side of things as well, I think we kind of hit the nail on the head, because it was a great segue for us to take, I suppose, some good momentum really right the way through to the trial games we played against Mosman and Lane Cove. Yeah,
100%. And I think, strangely enough, the kids loved Matty's session, so we certainly tried to chime them in. We had this horrible thing called COVID. Upside of that was that we had a lot of junior players that were really learning some fine detail skills. Like I couldn't have been happier with how that all sort of panned out. You could see it playing dividends in kicking and passing and some of those sort of more basic skills that we worked really hard on.
Yeah, I think the smaller little groups through that period of time, with the 6 to 8 kids only, that was
a treat.
Yeah,
perfect thing. We kicked into Rugby Olympics. Rugby Olympics didn't really know what we were going to do. We sort of, the coaches got together and said, let's
keep the kids moving. Team Titans
won.
You slipped me
Mother Ruckers didn't.
You slipped me $100 in the sport.
What's the secret to your success, mate?
I'd like to thank the parents. They really pushed really hard to get the kids going. But yeah, the boys were involved. I didn't do a lot of communication.
Song.
Maybe the team song did well. Who are we?
Probably my highlight was Zane's video. I think everyone got a good little chuckle there. And if we're ever doing any press conference, there were also some incredible kicks as well when we had a kicking drill.
Yeah.
I actually can't remember who won it, but the kick was absolutely extraordinary. Joshy.
It's Trev's filming, he rigged it.
And Spence. So Spence did a crack at
So I've got the opportunity to run a trial with Warunga. Yeah.
So this was probably the game of the year for me, really, and it was our first game. It just showed how far we'd come. It'd been a huge challenge even getting to that stage. You never know how the boys are going to play, if they've learned what they've learned, but they didn't just stick together, which we focused on all pre-season, but the skill level was there. Amazing. The tenacity was there. Winning the ruck was there, and putting a lot of those, expressing themselves, which is what Matt and I and Andy were always pushing them to do. They express themselves so well, and there's a lot of kicks in that game where we scored kicking behind them. That was the best start to the season.
How about the acknowledgement from their captain coming over and saying,
the
improvement in your team this year is just astronomical, and thanks for coming down.
Yeah. I think Warunga were our hoodoo team. They used to beat us, and this was the time we got them back first game.
Was that it was the White's first game, right?
White's first game, yeah.
And it was. I know we were all a bit nervous about how things had panned out, and they killed it. Yeah. Absolutely smashed it.
I was a reluctant starter as a coach, and we played the Blacks last year, and we lost twice.
Yeah.
But I walked away buzzing after that.
I think there were a lot of parents, a lot of kids that were really happy.
I thought, I've got some talent here. How do I hide this talent?
that was the moment where you stopped telling me with your players.
Hence, Dylan's match report for that game was only a couple of lines.
and even the Blacks at that point, when they went up against a quality A-grade side, they were holding them in parts. The only thing that they got them with is the fast running outside.
Yeah, the outside centre that just burnt them. But then when we played their
outside that, they were absolutely matching them forwards. And
their second grade team we drew against, which was a strong team.
Brilliant start.
finally, we got an opportunity to play rugby in the Sydney Junior Rugby competition. We kicked off round 1.
Yep. Yeah, I think for the Reds it was a big challenge. We played hardwood, and obviously from previous years and experience, they pipped us to the post last year when it came to it, and they were actually the reigning champions, if we can call them that. So
Didn't have him score a try.
he did. It was an unexpected way to start it. I think looking at
Prop start.
exactly, it was looking at the, I suppose, the form going into that game. The backline really was where we saw a lot of, I suppose, the momentum coming. But to see Adam run across, I know he captained the team for the first time in that game as well. So for him to score the first try was a big pat on the back.
100%. And I think at that point, we were running in with a pretty strong second team.
Yeah.
Stronger than I've ever seen at Hills. Unfortunately for us, because of how strong it was, they put us in a C grade comp. Hills has never had anyone above E grade.
Yeah,
And,
I think
they put us in a pretty hefty comp.
I think that first week is where the boys ran out and went, this is a real, the rugby field's a real equaliser. They put 15 points on us in about the first 3 minutes. The pleasing thing was, though, we had probably two of the best centres in that division in the comp. That's when we had Brado and Orlando.
Brado!
Second half, the boys just stepped up, shut them down. It ended up being a 10-5 scoreline in the second half. But yeah, that was a pivotal point for the team. A lot of them played together last year, but that step up into C grade, they really realised the intensity of it.
And you guys had a pretty close run with Hunters Hill, didn't you?
Yeah, 24-22 win against Hunters Hill. Good start to the year. Once again,
I think you kept on. You said I was sort of like, who won? And you're like, we did.
Yeah,
we yelled it out.
it was a wet day. We scored 4 tries. That was the day Ethan carved it up and put his name up there, which I tried to hide.
I think it was the last game we played, wasn't it?
Oliver McCallum had a blinder. Caleb scored a try.
So for the record, a lot of Dylan's
I'm
kids
with-
that he coached went on to do much greater things. Thank you, Coach.
and I'm winging it at the moment. But we had a really solid game, and that's when I thought, you know what, we can
You're
start.
gonna have a good season.
Yeah, we're going to have a good season. Yeah.
Well, we'll find out how you did in round 9.
We'll get
So
to-
what
we'll
happened
get
in
to
round 2? We had, Reds had a match against Blacktown.
We got bashed. I was going
Probably
to
the
the year for us.
Yeah, yeah.
We only got away with it by 1 point. Started off well, but after the first 10 minutes, the big bus got rolling, and we had to find our defence and man up and push back rather than let them roll through us, which was happening at the end of the first half, from what I can remember. But that was probably a bit of a turning point for me with that group of kids, where they were under a lot of pressure at the end of the first half, and actually stuck together, kept it going, and turned it around and just gutsed it out.
But I think a big thing for me in round 2 is a shout out to Isaac for, I suppose, his composure behind the boots as well, because if it wasn't for him kicking, I think it was 4 or 5 unanswered conversions,
Good
we
point.
wouldn't have won that game.
Good call.
We won 4 tries to 5, didn't we?
I don't know.
This was a turning point for us, and I think as coaches, we try and teach the boys around controlled aggression. So we played Dural, and we won't talk too much about it, except
Let's
that
not talk any more about
our boys don't
I
buy
said
it.
nothing.
As a coach, extremely proud of the boys of not retaliating to that crap. So the team they played were extremely well drilled, but disgustingly disciplined, and we didn't retaliate, which was outstanding.
Okay.
round 2 for the West. Tough game against quite a large East Beasties side. A couple of kids who are double my size.
Beasties, we love beating these.
Yeah, they're big boys. But we got off to a slow start. They got ahead of us. I think we were 20-0 down at half time. 20-5, I think, at half time. I thought, here we go. The boys wound up in the second half. That was Maddie's debut for the club. We turned up to training, and I grabbed him quickly.
It's little Matty. We've got Big Matty and Little Matty.
Matty,
It was
yes.
just outstandanding that day. Lockie kicked into gear, Matty kicked into gear, scored a few tries. We were up 24-22, and I remember the refs watch, I watched the videos after the game, 3 minutes ago, lost the game 34-24.
Definitely will blame that one on the refs.
So, no, boys did well to get back in, but we needed that loss to really, recheck. So,
Okay. So,
Round 3, Reds versus Wahroonga. From what I've got written here,
we followed it on, didn't we?
56-7.
That was a turning point for the boys.
The legs, that's it!
in here, yeah. Andy, hard talk, half time. Yeah.
Did and you had a pretty tough.
And that was our
game.
turning
That
point.
was-
So no, we played Kalara, so this was our
that
comeback
was that was a
game,
massive
51-5. So over 100 points scored between the first two games. The best thing for me about that game was big Benny Steele getting
Hat-trick.
a hat trick.
Oh,
man.
Highest try scorer of the year was our props. So beautiful.
we had a lot of prop scoring this year. It was good stuff.
Perfect
How the
specimen.
lights out?
Well, it's 35-10 against MPAT's outstanding.
Killed
game.
it.
We smashed it. The boys.
Numbers. Yeah,
Lucky, that's when Riley really started getting into gear too.
Yeah.
You know, one of the best pick and go.
Oh,
displays
Hill
I've
for a
seen
fact.
all
Good
week.
lead,
Yeah.
didn't he? How are we going round 4?
So we played Seaforth. This was probably the moment where I used to put out, this is our place, because we used to always lose there. So we've done so well with our mindset and getting the boys to believe in this is our place. We don't lose here anymore. And that was the game that we turned it right around. We stuck together. Again, probably won the ruck. Great kicking by Isaac. I think I got down here. J-Dog did some massive runs and some tackles there as well. So,
We held together and
Yeah.
pulled out a win there.
yep.
For us, it was against Drummoyne. This was a bit of a
Tough side.
tough side, and I think it was the time where the boys realised they couldn't turn up half baked. So Drummoyne put 15 points on us in the first 2 minutes, and then we lost by 10. But you know, if you're playing that level of rugby, you can't be constantly chasing. So we changed. They're good footballers, and the most beautiful thing about this was Benny Matthews, Sir Benedict's place as hooker, absolutely
Good
killed it.
stuff.
Penny.
White's had an exciting game. We were.
Yeah, every week for
It
you.
was,
was
it, was,
exciting.
it was exciting for me anyway. I'll go.
There you go.
But
Poor Dylan's heart is still recovering.
Still recovering. But 28-26 win. We were down and out. That's when
Was that down in Nagel?
Nagel. Joshy Hall's game for a first game.
First game.
Joshy got sin binned about 5 minutes ago, and I did not get a replacement on Mick. So
That's right.
I know you played a man down. You didn't have to.
minute to go. I think the ref was a bit off that day too, but we'll take it. Kobe just picked up the ball in their goal line, ran all the way and scored.
Beautiful.
Great win. Yeah.
And round 5, I think the Reds were up against Mossman.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was
Nemesis.
that was
Kept quiet on the sideline this time.
yeah, you did well. So for me, it's probably second toughest game of the year. 26-19 win. We were under a fair bit of pressure there. Very loud from their side with their coaches yelling and screaming. They were going to call the game off at one stage.
We were a
winning.
couple of tries ahead. They got a choke one in the end.
I think that they scored late to when it came to it, but I think that was just it shows Mossman. I think the passion from the coaches spills over to the kids at that point, and
That was their grand
I would
final.
love to have played Mossman in round 8. Put it that way, because I think we would have taken.
The Blacks were against Newport.
We played Newport, so they were undefeated. So we turned up to them, and this is where we turned around. And we had to win the first 7 minutes. That you can't come into these games with lack of intensity. We had Joshy Hall decide he was a halfback. Thought he'd join the pretty boys out of the back line.
Wasn't the other Josh playing cricket?
Other Josh decided to try and
Trevor.
play cricket. Hopefully he made the reps, but thankfully Josh has realised he is a forward.
White's had a tough day in the office. Played a larger and taller Balmain team. I think they were really put off by the size.
I had to give you a cuddle after that game. didn't
Yeah,
I?
I was a bit shattered. The boys, they were demoralised after the game, but Trevor Robson picked me up, actually said, let's stay positive. We lost
Physically?
pretty much, gave me a cuddle, but no, we thought it hard about it. I was a pest to Andy and Darren for the next few days.
The White,
And,
yeah.
demanding
Getting ideas?
Yeah, about training and.
But the Whites charged home from there.
Yeah, so
that was a
we-
bit of a turning point for them.
That was the last loss for the year, I think.
Round 6, let's forget about round 6. Let's go straight into round 7.
No, I'm not forgetting around round 6.
You can start it.
Round 6 was our inflection
Let's forget the
point.
Reds game.
This was, for me, where we had a team of individuals become an individual team. And we had players actually realise where they are best suited. We had Orlando play at outside centre, and with 3 playmakers inside him with Joshy, Callum and Matty. Scored 2 meat pies. This is where Lucian worked out that he was a forward.
I had a good chat to Marcel.
I think I put him at prop at one point there. And
Perfect.
we had Benny, Matty, and Will just absolutely carrying the team. Literally, Big Matty with 10 plays hanging off him that runs up the field. Unfortunately, there was a game Will broke his arm, but for us, that was the best game. The team just put everything we coached them into perspective. They drove the bus. Coach Mick and I looked at each other with tears in our eyes when that happened. There was a point where we had to call mercy, and they all stood there and just caught hold and rushed defence, and that was when our team became a team.
I think reflecting as a coach kind of dabbled between all the teams a little bit as well. Round 6, when I came down to you guys that Thursday after your win and just had a little run with your team, that you're 100% correct. It was a turning point for these boys.
Absolutely. Round 6 was awesome.
Good day for the Whites again. 34-19 win. Smashed them St. Pat's.
How many times have you played St. Pat's?
3 times.
We played in 3 because there was
3 this season.
There was a
you played them twice last year.
It was a COVID game, so that was a fill-in game.
Yeah, okay.
But that was a game for us too, where our forwards started dominating.
Being forwards.
Yeah, because I had a scintillating back line. The forwards are developing, and that's a game that really developed and built confidence. 34-19, great win.
So the Reds did have a win that week, but I was refereeing, and with
so
all
you-
respect to referees,
Sorry, ref. You would think if your coach is reffing you, it might be a
A little bit biased.
bit of a good game. No, very tough game for us.
Only game of the season, the referee told me to shut up.
from the middle of the field.
Yeah, so mate, we beat them again at home, at their place. Couldn't have been prouder again to do that. All the boys were there kicking into gear, supporting each other. So
Round
really
7.
proud. And that was when Mims, he was sent off by his dad as well, which was really hard.
So we could have just skipped round 6.
Yeah, we could have
Yeah, could have left
we
him on.
we
Could have
cut
left him
that
on the
bit out.
field.
Round 7, Father's Day.
Well, coming off you talking about mercy rule, I think we were talking about, was that?
Oh, yeah, we're close. This is a.
Yeah, we were talking about mercy rule at half time, weren't we?
Okay, yeah, so 46-0 I think it was, and Bianca and I were
We
saying...
killed it in the first half.
Best half
should
of
we
football
start
ever.
talking about the mercy rule? Half-time win, and then...
I think I did say don't talk about mercy rule.
We didn't
Let's
score a
get on
point
with it.
after that, after half-time. We did not score a point.
But we did test our, I suppose, defence. What would be the try line tackling, didn't it?
I came to that game. What a game of 2 halves.
Yeah. Good.
Jimmy said to me, he goes, mate, there's a reason why they put a lot of points in the second half because of how many tries you scored and how hard we worked in that first half. And we did blood a lot of new players in that second half as well. But that was probably a very proud moment for us in that first half.
we
But
had-
again, it was a team we really respect, right?
Big time.
One of their
They're
stars out
the-
there.
they're
And
the
we threw
champions.
on Joshy, Ethan, and Noah that game
Yeah.
into the team.
Yep.
That was Black Show.
That was our game.
That was the Central Eastwood game.
Yeah, that was Central Eastwood. So
Better known for the donuts.
better known for the donuts. So we got donuts that game. Probably our most competitive game ever was a grand final replay from last year. Unfortunately lost, but there were a few
It
players.
was, but it was a good
Good
feeling.
Mate,
There was a
literally-
lot of good feeling about that game.
I probably was a little bit more passionate. Well, not a little bit more passionate, a little bit more upset that we lost. But Andy was there that game and called out the talk from our marshals at halfback and 5'8" was outstanding. The green ball, red ball, all the backline moves. You could hear them from the sideline. Noah woke up and had eaten something different and started to destroy people. Same with Kaikona. So there were some players that was their turning point.
That's right, because Joshy came down after that game and backed up
Yeah.
in the Barbarians, yeah.
And the Whites were down at Nagle again, weren't they?
That
Yeah.
Nagel game, but there was another
We
seesawing
had
game.
8 players leave your team.
That's a
Yeah, we had.
that's
we
a
had
time,
to
man.
chuck them in the car.
That's when our relationship started getting interesting. We had players swinging across both teams, so we had I had about 5 to warm up, I think, before the game.
That's all right.
And the boys,
No hard feelings, mate.
no, boys rocked up. We gave it a shot. The lead seesawed all day, and at the end of the game, it was Kobe that sealed it for us. 21, 31, 24.
Getting into the back end, the Reds had a fantastic, probably game of the year against Hunters Hill.
Yeah.
Everything sort of came together, didn't it?
So the challenge was No Mercy from the show Cobra Kai. And the boys liked that. I said, yeah, we can do that. We like that show.
No mercy.
No mercy. I don't care if we win by 2 points. I just don't want any points scored against us, and they went out and did it, the little champions.
The only disappointment was Isaac not kicking that field goal at the end.
Yes.
That's right.
But I think we still
Yeah.
we all still give him a pat on the back for at least giving it a crack.
Yeah. So, and they were quite that was when rugby respect was really shown within the Reds. They were quite a dirty team, the Hunters Hill that day.
Yeah.
And our guys really kept to themselves and just managed it and let the scoreboard speak for itself.
And as we were getting down to the back end, we were probably struggling for numbers, weren't we?
Yeah, round eight.
Blacks probably suffered out of everyone.
Yeah, round 8 and 9 were tough. So we played DY and Mossman. We really became one team between the Whites and Blacks then. So we had 9 players backing up to play 2 games every week.
Yeah.
So I think against DY, they played Whites first and then Blacks. DY were massive. I love playing Northern Beaches teams because they're a bit tough like we are. But these were
They're a
big,
good team though.
great team. And I think we put it to them in the first kind of half. It was almost equal. In the back end of the second half, players were just exhausted and they ran away with two quick tries. But you know that's what we aim to be as coaches, is allow players to step up
And you started finishing it off, and staying on top of the table.
Yeah, thank God I've played before Nick. I had the boys fresh, and we lost Harry Child that game too.
Yeah.
Who was a
Harry
absolute human bulldozer the weeks before that.
He
he was like, I call him Buzz Lightyear. He was like a little padded up man, just bulldozing him. You know, we lost him, so we were down, but we had obviously we supported each other. We won 41-10. It was closer than I thought, Nick. Nick was yelling at me.
I did yell at him, get him off.
Get him off. I'm like, no, it's close, Nick. It's close, but
the same team you played on.
That's very close.
first round, yeah. But the boys actually played really well that day.
Yeah.
It was good. Our forwards were really developing in the breakdown, and our set pieces were a lot better. So we were winning good ball out of the back line, which we didn't have early in the year, but we could see it heading in the right direction.
And the last round, we had a good win against Newport and the Reds.
Yeah.
So, you know, they all respect to the Newport, they had only lost one game. And
A true grand
Well,
final. Yeah.
that was
1 versus 2.
It was 1 versus 2, carrying good momentum into the season, but I think it was
Blood
a
of the
great
field.
way to finish it because
Yeah.
to take a team that hasn't lost the game all season and keep them motivated through all of this as well, if they're playing a side that's called like a Seaforth that we had kind of pipped twice, it wouldn't have meant the same.
Yeah.
So for them to finish the season with that, I think for all of the boys as well, it was really just a nice way to reward them for it. It's been a great season.
And respectful to Newport, this is really respecting A grade. They weren't happy about losing.
No, so
They
good
were
to
not
see.
happy about losing. You know, and that's you know, it comes with it. But
Josh
they were a
Holmes
great
was
team.
bitterly disappointed.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
Luke Holmes.
I enjoyed seeing that, to be honest.
So just,
But,
just to
they
pick up what
worked
Nick
out.
said, the amount, because we were down a couple of players, a couple of forwards were down, Ad was out. We had to really rely on some depth, and that's what the whole year was about. And to beat Newport, number 2, with quite a few of your forwards out.
Yeah, Lockie and Adam out.
Noah was in there, Big Matty was in there, we were
So we
calling
had-
everybody. Aiden was out as well.
That was a
Wrecking
big,
ball.
yeah, absolutely. That was a big tick on the box for that we had done the right things with the program. In that we brought Matt and Noah.
It was huge.
Hadn't played a game in the Reds all year, and they absolutely carved it up. They did well, and every single one of the Blacks players was ready to play in the Reds.
Okay.
Every single one of the Whites players was ready to play in the Blacks.
Yeah,
It was the way the season panned
good
out.
ending.
Yeah, that was our last game against Mossman. Whereas barking down. So unfortunately we went down to Mossman. But I think as coaches, getting players to play upgrades that could stand up, and every single one of them did, was a win.
That's what it was all about.
Then we went and played.
The Whites
St.
had we had to win.
That was a
I
tough
thought.
game.
It
It
was
was
tough
a
game.
tough game. It was not a. St. Pat's really stepped up. I think they recruited a couple of players.
I think I might have made.
They were not the same team we played the first couple of rounds. We warm ups. We didn't warm up. It was raining and
horrible.
got the balls in the field. We were down 2 tries in the first 5, and we ended up coming back and drawing the game. Proud of the boys. They did come back on a wet day. Tough. It was a tough
That was,
game.
that was your minor premiers. You got minor premiers that game.
Until Andy and Nick tapped me on the shoulder and told me about the minor premiership, well, I didn't really realise
Didn't
it.
believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so no, it was good result.
So 2 out of 3, not bad. So that's a bit of a wrap on the Sydney Junior Rugby Union rounds. Couple of premierships out of 3 grades, but
Yes.
you know, importantly, we tried to do something this year that a lot of people said we couldn't do. We worked closely together with all of our teams all the players were interchangeable. They all had the same skills. They were given opportunities in each of the grades, and we really started to get some results as a consequence, which was great to see. A lot of thank yous go out, through the season. Obviously, this massive coaching group. We're missing DK and Andrew Usher, probably. Jimmy, of course.
Jimmy, Darren.
Each one of them has able to speak the right words when we need them. Everyone contributes at the right time. Incredible managers in Sabina, Laura, Bianca, Craig came as sort of assistant coach / manager with the Whites. We had a great number of ARs and ground marshals this year with Simon, Jason, Emerson, Brian. I'll probably missing a couple. But also with the ground managers, David and Stuart stepping up. And I'm sure we have more ground managers.
Trevor did a lot for me to help me out too. So.
Trevor's there.
Trevor's
always there.
He's
making it all happen once.
As long as he doesn't need to make any shoes, he's there.
One of the things that we may not have noticed is that actually getting back into training with COVID was really difficult. Only the COVID marshal, Bianca, was there at every training
session.
With her soup and then take off into the
asking all the kids, have you got any flu-like symptoms? Didn't send anyone home. Asking them all the right questions and ticking them off and sending them names off, all that sort of stuff. DK, Darren Cable, apart from being a fantastic coach and really combined well in every single one of the age groups, he was our photo guy. Did our team photos, which were really appreciated.
Brilliant, thank you, DK.
At the end of the year, and the weekly photos, I know really gives the parents a bit of a buzz. He didn't do many for the Reds though. It was all about the whites and blacks though. We got
that's what it should be.
Kind of
he knew where the talent was.
He was recruiting. He was recruiting all year.
We had.
He was watching his son in there.
We had. We need to get more photographers in the Reds because we had Glenn, of course, was fantastic doing.
Absolutely.
All of the videoing, and luckily he's got Pat who can take care of the technology and upload the videos.
Kept my Sundays busy.
Importantly, probably the standout for the year was Andrew Thompson, someone who the under 11s, soon to be under 12s, is very proud of. He's been refereeing for a couple of years now. Quite an accomplished referee, and certainly whenever we got him on the field. He's rock solid and steady, and we know we're going to get a good match out of it. Really happy that he's been part of the under 11s age group and grateful for that. Not to mention Leilani, who got her first run with the Whites this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, she did all right.
We had 3 back-to-back games in the Blacks with her.
Yes.
I think we've won every game, so it's good.
Kaikane throwing head highs everywhere too.
She was
I thought she was going to yellow card.
She was close to yellow card.
It was in the Whites.
She would love nothing more. Give her a chance.
So look, that's it. A lot of gratitude to a lot of people supporting. The biggest shout out goes to the kids. It was really about everyone counts or no one counts this year. We worked hard at developing skills. We worked hard at developing respect. We worked hard at being competitive. We don't walk out there and I think we were really able to achieve a lot of those due to all the help that everyone gave. But importantly, the kids stepped up to the task, didn't they?
Yeah, I felt like it was a really well balanced season.
Awesome.
I think despite all the challenges it faced, 100%.
From the coaching side of things, it was well balanced. We could all have a laugh, not take ourselves too seriously, but be open and honest with each other. And then from the kids' side of things, it was well balanced as well because we had that inner flow between all the teams. It was an inclusive year. And I've always said that to these boys. They get tired of me saying it, but I've been involved with rugby for, junior rugby now for 6 or 7 years, and the amount of years that you go through and it's not inclusive and your kid is stuck in that team for the whole of the season, there's nowhere to go. This was a complete different year, and that's why I think we've been so successful.
I think you've got it's testament to players like Ethan and that making their way across midway through the season.
It's all about.
We got a bit of a joke about it earlier, but we've changed that whole direction of where his life's going to be going. And it's little things like this for me is why we coach.
Yeah.
But I know, and it's the kids will agree with me on this one, and I'm sure the coaches will back me up. There's a lot of thank yous you have to make
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without you as our fearless leader, I have to say
Yeah.
on the backing of the video too, because I know all the boys when they're watching this next Thursday as well will say the exact same thing, mate. Transitioning from soccer into rugby for me was never an easy thing. You were patient, but let me tell you, you were very patient and asking a lot of different questions from the sideline, mate. But
Yeah.
doing things like this, these boys can truly take this under 11 year with them for the rest of their life. And anyone that wants to make something of it's been led right from the start from you, Andy. So from me to you, mate.
Yeah, from all of us.
Well,
Yeah, from all of us.
yeah, I mean, I was choosing Andy's era of big time, eh? Big time. I come back to it's routine, structure, and then you get your rhythm. And I felt throughout the year we were hitting our rhythm. You know, every kid, all the moves were consistent, training was consistent. When you see the kids running the warm ups themselves, and you know they're coming to training, they know what the drills are, they know all the moves, they're all consistent across all 3 grades. You know you've got it right. So Andy, kudos, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so lots to look forward to. Great group of people. We're going to evolve, right? There's going to be a
15
different
aside.
setup next year, 15 aside,
Can't wait.
opportunity for different positions next
Some will
year.
come, some will go.
Hopefully, a few parents will put their hand up to coach as well. We're a very inclusive bunch. Looking forward to having more on board. We might lose a couple. I don't think because of they want to run away, but everyone's got kids in different age groups. So hopefully we feed a little bit of this into other age groups. But looking forward to 2020 under 12s at Helios.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Who are we?
Who are we? Let's start with that.
Thank you, boys. Great season. Well done.
Well done, boys.
There you go.